Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Train to Busan remains one of the most powerful and emotionally gripping zombie thrillers ever created. A film that completely transformed the way audiences viewed the horror genre. Years after its release, fans still talk about it with the same intensity, and the excitement around updates and possible continuations of the story has never truly died. What made Train to Busan stand out wasn't just its thrilling action or terrifying zombies, but the deep human emotion at its core. It was a movie that showed how, even in the darkest of times, compassion, sacrifice, and love can still shine through. The film's success sparked an entire wave of interest in Korean cinema worldwide, proving that great storytelling transcends language and culture. At its heart, Train to Busan told the story of survival, family, and human nature under extreme pressure. The setting, a high-speed train racing across South Korea during a sudden zombie outbreak, created one of the most unique and claustrophobic environments in any zombie movie. As the infection spread from car to car, so did the tension, forcing passengers to fight not only for their lives but for their humanity. Every moment was filled with urgency, fear, and heartbreak. But what truly made the film unforgettable was the way it balanced horror with emotion. Beneath the blood and chaos, there was a story about redemption and sacrifice, about a father learning what it truly means to love. The lead character, Seo-koo, portrayed by Gong Yoo, became one of the most memorable protagonists in modern cinema. At the start, he was a cold, self-centered man focused only on his work, detached from his young daughter. But as the world around him fell apart, he was forced to confront what truly mattered. His journey from selfishness to selflessness was one of the most powerful arcs in the film. Through the horror of the outbreak, he found a sense of humanity. He had lost, and in the end, his sacrifice became one of the most emotional moments in zombie movie history. The connection between Seo-koo and his daughter became the emotional anchor of the story, making the audience care deeply about every danger they faced. Alongside them, the supporting characters brought depth and realism to the chaos. The brave, working-class father-to-be Sang-hwa, played by Ma Dong-seok, quickly became a fan favorite for his humor, courage, and selfless protection of others. His dynamic with Seo-koo created one of the most powerful partnerships in the movie, showcasing the contrast between privilege and empathy. Other passengers, from the elderly sisters to the teenage couple, represented different sides of humanity, some compassionate, some cruel. The way each character responded to fear revealed the film's central message, that in crisis, people show who they truly are. The zombies in Train to Busan were unlike anything audiences had seen before. They were fast, relentless, and terrifyingly primal, but their portrayal carried a deeper meaning. They symbolized the loss of humanity, a reflection of greed, selfishness, and blind panic. The infection spread with shocking speed, mirroring the uncontrollable chaos of modern society. The director's decision to use tight spaces and practical effects made every attack sequence feel intensely real. The sense of confinement inside the train amplified the horror. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and every moment could be your last. The tension built with every passing minute, turning the film into an emotional roller coaster from start to finish. The film's direction was masterful in how it intertwined action and emotion. Each sequence felt purposeful, not just to thrill, but to build the characters' relationships and test their morals. The train became a metaphor for society itself, divided by class, selfishness, and fear. Those in the front cars represented privilege, while those in the back were treated as expendable. The fight for survival became a mirror of the real world's inequalities, making the story not just terrifying but deeply relevant. It wasn't just a zombie movie. It was a human story told through the lens of apocalypse. The emotional climax of the film remains one of the most heartbreaking endings in modern cinema. Seo-koo's final act of sacrifice, choosing his daughter's safety over his own life, left audiences in tears. As the train sped toward Busan, his journey ended not as a businessman or a survivor, but as a father who finally understood what love truly means. The closing scene, where his daughter walks into safety, singing the song she once sang for him, gave the story a bittersweet yet beautiful conclusion. It was a moment that stayed with viewers long after the credits rolled, a reminder that love and humanity can still triumph even in the face of death. The impact of Train to Busan went far beyond the screen. It became an international sensation, drawing both critical acclaim and audience admiration from all over the world. The film proved that the zombie genre could still feel fresh when told through strong emotional storytelling. It also introduced global audiences to the brilliance of Korean filmmaking, inspiring interest in more international cinema. Fans from every corner of the world connected with its universal themes of love, fear, and sacrifice. The movie became a symbol of how deeply a foreign language film could move people regardless of cultural barriers. After the film's release, excitement grew around its expanding universe. Discussions about sequels and spin-offs began almost immediately. Fans were eager to know what happened next, not just to the world, but to other survivors who might still be out there. Eventually, the world of Train to Busan expanded with new projects exploring the aftermath of the outbreak and the scale of its devastation. These continuations deepened the mythology and gave audiences more insight into how society might rebuild or fail to rebuild after such horror. The expansion of the story kept the spirit of the original alive, though. Many still consider the first film's emotional impact unmatched. The idea of a Western remake also sparked much debate among fans. While some were excited to see how the story might be reimagined for a new audience, others feared that the emotional depth and cultural nuances of the original might be lost in translation. Regardless of opinion, this interest in adapting the film showed just how influential Train to Busan had become globally. Its reputation grew beyond the horror genre, cementing its place as one of the most important international films of its time. What made Train to Busan timeless was how it blended genres seamlessly. It was horror, action, and drama all at once, but most importantly, it was a human story. It reminded audiences that in moments of crisis, people's true nature comes out. Some become monsters long before the infection reaches them, while others find courage they never knew they had. This balance of fear and hope, despair and love made the film unforgettable. Every scene felt alive, every emotion genuine, and every loss meaningful. The performances were another reason the film hit so deeply. Gong Yoo brought depth and heart to his role, making Seo Koo's transformation believable and heartbreaking. Ma Dong-seok's strength and humor provided both relief and inspiration. Kim Soo-an, the young actress who played Seo Koo's daughter, delivered an astonishing performance that carried the film's emotional weight. Her innocence and vulnerability reminded audiences what was truly at stake, the future of humanity itself. Together, the cast created a chemistry that made the story feel personal, as if the audience was right there on the train, fighting to survive with them. As years passed, Train to Busan continued to influence filmmakers around the world. Its success proved that horror could be emotional and socially relevant at the same time. The film inspired countless directors to explore deeper themes within genre cinema, using fear not just to entertain but to reflect real-world struggles. The film's legacy is evident in how it continues to be discussed, analyzed, and celebrated as one of the most moving zombie stories ever told. The excitement surrounding new developments in the Train to Busan universe remains strong. Fans are eager to see how the story evolves, whether through sequels, spin-offs, or new interpretations. What everyone hopes, though, is that future stories retain the same heart that made the original so special. It wasn't just about zombies or survival, it was about what it means to be human in the face of overwhelming loss. That emotional truth is what made Train to Busan more than a horror film. It made it a timeless masterpiece. Even today, revisiting Train to Busan feels just as intense and emotional as it did when it first released. Every scream, every tear, and every moment of sacrifice still hits hard. The movie reminds us that, in the darkest moments, humanity's greatest strength isn't in power or wealth, but in empathy. The father's redemption, the stranger's bravery, and the daughter's innocence together form a story that lingers in the heart long after the film ends. Train to Busan's enduring popularity shows that great cinema doesn't need language to connect with people. It's a film that speaks through emotion, one that continues to touch lives across the globe. Whether you watch it for its thrilling action, its heart-stopping tension, or its heartbreaking story, it's impossible to forget. The movie remains a testament to love, sacrifice, and survival, a story where even in a world consumed by monsters, humanity still finds a way to shine through the darkness.